Hello, everyone, and welcome to my presentation on board game recommendations. My name is Z Yang. A little bit about me. I am a data scientist. I was an aerospace engineer before that, and I was a veteran in the Navy nuclear engineering field. And before all of that, I am a nerd, and that is why I am presenting to you my project, which is recommending board games. I love board games. Why would I want to make a recommender? It's multiplayer. It's fun for the whole family or friends, and the boards and characters and mechanics are all intricately designed. And why do I want to make a recommender? There are over 80,000 board games to choose from. There's over 80 categories, and the quarantine is 8 months and getting longer. So I wanted to make a recommender for myself to find what board games I would like to play. So let's talk about the data. The data is gathered from Board Game Geek. It has over 80,000 games, and I used 74,264 of them. Each board game can have more than one category and more than one mechanic. So here's a little bit about the data. The top 15 board game mechanics is shown on the left, and top 15 board game categories is shown on the right. As you can see, there's some very common and well-known mechanics such as dice rolling, moving, hand management, and some categories include card games, word games, children's games, fantasy, science fiction, etc. The others at the very bottom are the rest of the numerous categories and mechanics that are less than 2% each. So what did I do? I used Python 3 as my programming language, and I built a recommender, and I built a web application. My model for recommendations is called latent derelict allocation, and it uses only the game descriptions from the data that I have. The website that I built takes one game that you like and takes a number that you would like to generate, and gives you a recommendation, gives you the number of recommendation that you want. For example, here in the right, you can see that Catan and 10 are entered, and it's going to generate 10 games based on Catan. I will demonstrate. So here's my website. And here are the recommendations. So I can get back to this later, but let me finish my presentation. So as you can see, the results come in categories, mechanics, and then the description. That way you can read each column and decide which game you would like to play. As you can see, some of the highlighted words are role playing, right? Because this game that I chose to example is Betrayal at House on the Hill. It's a storytelling game, and it has a betrayal at the end of the game, somewhere in the middle. So there is role playing involved. So the recommended games have role playing, storytelling, variable player powers, etc. And remember, the recommendations are based only on the description, and I believe that it's a pretty good recommending because the mechanics match, the categories match, and some of the themes match. This is a little bit more about the data that I have. So on the left is all of the clusters based on my learned model, completely unsupervised. And on the right are from the categories of the actual games, from the actual data. As you can see, horror is a category that my model has derived from the words. There's zombie, survivor, dead, and it's going to group all of the games that have certain words in the description together. So then it's going to recommend, if a game has zombie in its description, it might recommend another game with survivor in it. There's a bit of future work I want to do. For example, include a list of games for users to choose from, filter by mechanics or category, add ratings, etc. I want to increase the robustness of my model and eventually have an even better recommender. And this is the end of my presentation. I will take questions.